Space Marine shore to shore with Art Tracer.
Hello, I'm Art Tracer.
Right now, Russian troops are crossing the border of the Ukraine. They're moving in with tanks and howitzers. Believe it or not, they do have this. I saw pictures on Twitter. They have convoys. They have buses. They got old people escaping. Yes, World War III is upon us. The end is nigh.
Yeah, it seems when these things happen, it's just one country. It seems like, and then all of a sudden, it's like everyone else joins in. Everyone's got their alliances, and then
It's like NATO.
Yeah,
NATO versus the USSR.
I mean, we're basically setting ourselves up for World War III. I mean, it's pretty clear.
Yes, indeed. I think I got some thoughts, but first I'm gonna play the new #1 song in the Ukraine. I'll probably get banned just for this.
I think maybe the quality is bad enough where they won't pick it up.
All right, you get the punt. Part of Ukraine is back in the USSR. I think that will be the #1 song there. What do you think, Art Tracer?
Yeah, it's.
They don't know how lucky they are.
Yeah,
they're so lucky.
Like, what year is this?
Yeah.
I heard the Russians trying to make excuses why they deserved the Ukraine, and basically like, hey, they used to be part of the USSR, and we want them back. Come home. We have history.
Yeah, like Putin had a speech where he said, "We made the Ukraine. Russia created the Ukraine as we know it. It would not exist unless Russia." Well, actually, God created the Ukraine. Or this is also a show about Torah and God. So yes, God created the Ukraine. God created Russia. God created Putin, and they're idol worshippers for saying anyone but God created the Ukraine. That's my opinion. Anyways, now to the plan. See, I'm a very chief military strategist from South Point of the United States. I didn't go to any. But, there's West Point. I'm from the Everglades. That's the South Point.
I didn't know there was a South Point.
Yeah, there's no South Point. So I am from the Everglades, and I got knowledge of how to conduct a war. If I was president, I would fly all the nuclear bombers out right now. I would set all the submarines into attack mode. And I would give Putin one chance. I'd be like, if you don't back off right now and send back your little soldiers, I'm going to hit the button. And you better believe me, because I just drank a monster and smoked some marijuana. So there's nothing to stop me and no rationality. I will kill you and your whole country. If Biden did that, like if they were so concerned, they're showing all these statements like they're about to invade the Ukraine. They're about to invade the Ukraine. They are invading the Ukraine. Just be like, I'm going to nuke you, Russia. That's a statement. Yeah. And then that'll end it. They'll stop. They're like, okay, we don't want to lose all of our citizens over this. And they'll just back off. That's the truth.
But I'd be afraid of Biden falling asleep in the middle of that, not pushing the button.
I'm saying if I was president. Yes, he should do it. I mean, Hunter could give him some crack cocaine.
But like, I'm pushing the button right now.
Can he get some crack from his son, though?
We
just got banned again, I think.
Hey, Comrade Biden, I know you'd like the crack. Like, no, I don't. Your son loves it.
Russian
accent.
All right, whatever. We're off point. We're not at West Point or South. Oh, look, the video screen's having connection issues. I think we definitely tripped the sensors. Okay. There's the Chinese delineas, communist Russians.
I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah, by the way, what I see, so Russia's like Germany. The World War II started.
Yeah.
They're like, we need the Sudan to land in Czechoslovakia because all the Germans live here. We need this land right now. There's a lot of Germans all in this land. If you don't give it to us, we won't destroy the Czechoslovakia. Yes. That's what's going on in Russia. They're like, we need the Crimea, we need the Donbass, we need Donetsk and Luhansk because the Russians live there. And if you don't give it to us, we will destroy the Ukraine. It's the same thing. I mean, I hope he doesn't go all Nazi on us and be like anti-Semitic. And I don't think that's like the big issue right now. But the issue is World War II is repeating, except it's worse because now it's nuclear countries. And I think my opinion is if he takes, like, he already took over, the Donbass. So that's like part of Russia now. Yeah. They took over Belarus. They put like 100,000 soldiers in Belarus. So Belarus has been annexed de facto. And now they're going to take the whole rest of Ukraine. And if you don't stop them, they're going to take like Poland. Yeah. They're going to start invading like everything. Be like, oh, we need even more land because it's, it says in the Torah, if you have $100, you want $200. It's the same thing with imperialists invading land. Like, oh, we got Ukraine, we need Poland. We need Lithuania, Estonia, and Latvia, which they are threatening. That was the part of the Soviet bloc, and they want to take over that. And then they want Finland. And Finland's president's like, I don't think they're really going to invade us. He's saying that because they have a few more countries to invade before they get to Finland. But did you know Finland was part of the USSR? Did you know that?
Oh.
Yes, it was until it broke up.
Oh.
Yeah, that was Russia.
I did not know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sweden and Norway were not part of it, but Finland was definitely part of the USSR. And they were fighting against the USSR in World War II to get out, and I think they did. They got out early before the collapse of the Soviet Union. Mm-hmm. Yes. So, yeah, Finland's like, oh, we don't think they're going to invade us. Well, that's what they were saying in World War II. Like Norway, even like the same region was like, oh, Hitler won't invade us, but then they invaded everyone else, and like, oh, we got to invade them too. It was like, let's invade everything. Like the Swiss in World War II were putting bombs like all around their border, and like putting bombs on all their bridges in case the Germans invaded. Like in order to even stay neutral, Switzerland had no qualms with Germany. That was actually helping Germany, giving them technology and weapons. They still thought they were going to get invaded because they would have if they weren't like very smart with their Swiss technology. You knew that? Yeah. Okay, what are your thoughts on Tracer?
Well, I mean, Putin he's gonna get what he wants, and I don't think Biden is gonna do much.
I don't think Biden will stop him, but NATO is more than Biden.
Yeah, true.
NATO could just de facto be like, okay, screw this. We're not going to let the whole Western world collapse. I mean, my opinion is you either fight them now or you fight them once they already took over Europe. You're still going to have to fight them because if they take over Europe, they're going to be like, we want the United States now. We want to be the only country. And by the way, just like World War II, just like Japan was the allies with Germany, China. That's like the current version of Japan. China's going to start war. As soon as there's a big war going on with NATO or the Western powers and everyone's bogged down, China's like, we're taking Taiwan and we're taking Philippines. We're taking, we're going to take Southeast Asia. We're going to take Vietnam. They're just going to start. It's like the same thing. It's amazing how similar this is to the beginning of World War II. It's unbelievably the same thing, except now there's a bunch of nuclear bombs. And nuclear bombs might not be instantly used, but as soon as a conventional war gets desperate, which is inevitable, one side will get desperate. Either side has nukes. So as soon as it gets desperate, you're going to see nukes.
And
so it's signing up to a nuclear war right now. It's the same thing.
Yeah, Ukraine is probably hating the fact that they destroyed their nukes
they didn't really destroy their nukes. Yeah, I heard that headline Ukraine's planning to have nuclear capability. They have nuclear capability. Yeah. There's no freaking doubt. Most of the nukes were based in Ukraine. There's still some there.
They claim they destroyed them all. So
I'm sure they at least have some Russian scientists that are Ukrainians now that know how to build them.
Yeah,
I mean, come on,
you're gonna have to have there's multiple in cryogenic storage.
FYI, Chernobyl was in the Ukraine. All the scientists from Chernobyl and also the other nuclear facilities in the Ukraine are in the Ukraine. Yes, Ukraine has a massive nuclear capability. If they get pushed to the edge, see, it doesn't even have to go down the full line of war where Russia invades all the way to Poland and then Germany and they take over Eastern Germany again, which they probably would want to. Imagine that.
So Chernobyl is in the Ukraine?
It's in the Ukraine.
So what if they went scorched earth and they just
bomb Chernobyl?
Either one side or the other, and maybe the Ukrainians just get so desperate they
Oh yes, that's a possibility. If Ukraine loses, they can blow Chernobyl.
Yeah, they blow the top off of that giant.
Just takes one sick guy with a button.
They made it a giant basketball court. They put a dome over.
Any soldier flying around any Air Force plane could just bomb Chernobyl at will. It's like a war zone. I just dropped my bomb here by accident, even though they did it on purpose. It takes one bomb, and then Chernobyl's thousands of nuclear bombs of radiation leaking out. And if they actually dropped a bomb on that shit, it might actually explode worse than ever. And melt down harder than it ever did, right?
Yeah,
dude, yeah, but that's not even the only thing. There's tons of nuclear facilities in the Ukraine. Obviously, there's tons of nuclear weapons. They don't need to resort to bombing Chernobyl, but they might. This is a really bad war that's happening. people still don't realize. So, what are your thoughts, Art Tracer? Do you realize?
Well, I think a lot of people are especially these millennials, they don't understand the possibility of world wars. They just can't comprehend. They think they got a hashtag where they can put all their woke thoughts into it, and then they don't realize the consequences of of real actions that could happen. They're like collapse. If a world war broke out, all these millennials, they're just they'd be like, we need someone to talk to us because we're so triggered that there's a world war. They're not going to be able to handle it.
You think so?
Yeah, they won't understand.
I guess the new generation hasn't heard of drugs yet. I hope they do. All right, so who needs a psychologist? Not me.
Self-medicate.
All right, so
this is not a medical advice.
I was going to say something important. Oh yeah, so Putin did something very interesting with his invasion of the Ukraine. He declared the Donetsk People's Republic, the Luhansk People's Republic. So these regions that are part of the Ukraine, but they de facto been controlled by Russia since 2015. He declared them independent countries, and then he immediately signed agreements to send peacekeeping forces to protect these new countries, plus signed an agreement to establish military bases in these countries. So now they sent in Russian troops. So they invaded the Ukraine, but the way he did it made it so it's almost legal from the Russian side. So it wasn't breaking any laws, but it actually does break international laws. So Putin's intent was to show, this is not breaking international law. It's a country that has asked for my help. So I can send my soldiers in, even though it is Ukraine that he's invaded. So basically, that's how he did it. But then the United Nations says this is definitely a violation of international law. By the way, as we talk, people might be watching the Security Council meeting because that's on at 9 p.m. Did you know that? Did you know the Security Council is meeting an emergency tonight?
Yeah.
That's how serious this is. Security Council meetings are not that normal. Even during the Iraq War, it was they would schedule it out a day or two ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
If it's happening like that,
but Russia can veto anything they say.
Yes,
so
but they can still. Yes.
Veto. We haven't even made a declaration. Veto. We veto this meeting.
Well, when it just throw Russia out, then the UN collapses. Yeah. Didn't this happen World War One?
Yeah,
the nations. Wasn't the same thing?
Yeah,
but it collapsed because there was a war.
The League of Nations just fell apart
because once there's a war between any superpowers, the UN sort of thing falls apart.
Yeah,
because then there's two.
Well, basically, the reason why the UN has never collapsed is because we basically, put the monsters in charge, and anytime there's a women's rights council or a human rights council, we always put Iran on it, and they always get cycled into it, and the worst offenders of women's rights and human rights, they almost always are president of that part of the UN, and it's a joke, Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I think about the UN. Yep.
What are your other thoughts, Art Tracer? I just opened the new vape.
Yeah.
This is just a prop, by the way. This is a movie. I'm not smoking anything.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Yep.
Don't watch me.
Fake stuff.
Blueberry pomegranate. All right, so let's go look at the recent news while we're on air.
Yeah, just say no, children.
By the way, ZeroHedge.com. I vouch for Zero Hedge and Tyler Durden. It's Ukraine embassy. Okay, so first, United States
peacekeeping operation. I love it. That's the way they word it.
So first, the United States moved the Ukrainian embassy that we have there
to Poland,
to Lviv, which is they're moving everything to Lviv, all the embassies, but now they're moving from Lviv to Poland. That's how bad it's gotten.
Well,
people don't realize okay, now that the troops have moved into the Donbass, it's about to be all of Ukraine all at once. Is going to get invaded.
Well, I'm glad that we don't see anybody in helicopters on a roof.
By the way, you understand the way Putin said this is if Ukraine attacks the Donbass, which is an active war zone where they're attacking each other, they can't stop because it's a war. He says if the Ukraine does any more, they're going to invade all the Ukraine. He basically said that. That's going to happen in the next day right now. Right now. First, they drove, by the way, so fast. The declaration was made that we're taking over this and we're sending peacekeepers. They drove in a straight line all the way to the Ukrainian actual border without stopping at 5 speed. They made it 60 miles. in like
But
an
I
hour.
do wonder what kind of heritage do they have of like individuals there having guns? Do they like take like the rest of Europe where they have strict gun control laws? Because I think that'll tell us how well that they'll be able to themselves in like a Stalingrad type of situation if it comes down to it.
In Kiev?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about their gun laws there, so I'm not sure. Like,
Well, the United States has been shipping billions of dollars
Yeah.
of guns to the Ukraine.
yeah, well, I guess
gonna
if
be
they
intense.
collapse, that maybe those guns will start being distributed among the citizens, and then they'll start fighting the Russians.
Well, there's a draft going on. So you guys think this is so far? There's no draft here, There's no war right here. But if you don't stop the imperialist, tyrannical monster dude, just like in World War II, he's just going to be like, I'm taking over the world. It's not going to stop. And that's why there's been a lot of warnings about this past week or two, that the United States sees this. We have a president that can't handle it.
I mean,
I don't know what he said he's going to do besides sanctions. Like, sanctions don't stop. Would sanctions stop like Hitler? Ever, Phil?
oh no,
I mean,
no.
or Fraser?
I mean,
No, they wouldn't.
they try to they waved Nev Chamberlain did a dance like, oh, look at this paper I got from Hitler.
Yeah, just watch the movie The Edge of
Attack.
Munich.
Never going to attack. Look at this paper, everybody, in your face.
And then they attacked.
Yeah.
So that's good. At least the NATO and the UN, at least they didn't sign the paper saying yes, you can have the Donbass.
Yeah.
Unless they do right now.
Mm.
They could. They still have the chance to be like, yeah, it's okay, you can have the Donbass. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a very tense situation there, and there's a potential to collapse.
Yeah. So in other news, yeah, if I was the president, I would be hitting the launch button, and well, I wouldn't quite nuke Russia yet. I would just threaten them. And they said, nah, we don't believe you. We're just going to keep going. I would nuke them.
Yeah, the threat of mutually...
Might as well nuke them now, instead of later when we're already fighting a war for years. Just do it now.
I don't trust our Star Wars system to knock all the nukes down. They might knock half of them down.
Nah, I think we would knock them all down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, they got the hypersonic missile, though.
Mm-hmm.
They got the hypersonic. But it's so fast, like, we can't knock it down. That's the issue. So we did build the ultimate Star Wars system for regular ballistic missiles, but hypersonic will go. It'll just go right by. So yeah, it's coming though. I mean, I guarantee there'll be a nuclear war from this. Oh shit! I can't put that on the camera.
I don't know if there's a guaranteed nuclear war. I mean, I'd rather there be no more Ukraine than actually have a nuclear war. Quite frankly.
Well, it's not like it's gonna stop there.
True, but
Putin sees his moment. He was like very sad that the USSR collapsed, and he sees the.
Why does it seem like
he sees this is the right time to take
Why does it seem like this dude is like hundreds of years old, like he's a vampire, like he's been around for so long? It's like
yeah, let's look him up. How old is Vladimir Putin? I think he's very old.
I remember seeing like old footage of Ronald Reagan going to the USSR. And then, like in the background, like Putin was part of the KGB. You see, like a young 20-year-old Putin, like standing behind Ronald Reagan.
All right, so Putin was born in 1952, which is well within the USSR. So he was born in the USSR. And then, what did he do in the USSR?
He's only 70 years old, man.
He worked at the KGB.
Yeah.
I think he was in charge of the KGB, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
All right, so I mean, like seriously, Putin. Basically USSR agent.
Yeah.
And he sees the opportunity with the very weak United States president and the COVID ruining the whole world mentally. It's time to bring back the USSR.
But we have no opinion on that subject because we don't want to get banned.
Check my emails. I've probably been banned.
Yeah, I wonder if they banned it any or other.
Oh, it did not get banned.
Nice. They must have.
That
missed
is
it.
crazy.
They must have missed our little conversation about.
No, we didn't talk too much about the coup. The coup d'etat. All right. So, any more thoughts before we end the show? What would you do if you were president?
What would I do?
Yeah.
Send a strongly worded message.
So that's just like.
Yep.
So what if you were vice president? I was president. I hit the nuclear button at this moment, and nukes were launched and engaged, and you couldn't stop them.
Oh, I'd be like, where's the bunker we get to stay in? You know.
We'd already be in the bunker.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, hope we have enough food for 100 years, so that we can outlast the radiation.
All right. With that, we are ending the show. Until next time, Space Marine, shore to